Welcome back, folks. It was always going to come down to this. All roads seem to lead to a winners' finals between Quadrant and NaVi. It's on our stage. The match is almost set.
I thought you were going to say all roads lead to Blackpool, and that has been true to everybody here in over the last few days. If you're a European Halo fan, or if you're a Halo fan in general across the world, it does seem like Blackpool is the place to be. And this is the match, like you say, that everyone's been looking forward to. It is the winners' bracket final, so this isn't going to decide, of course, who's going to be the champion here in Blackpool, but it certainly is going to give us a good indication. And wonderful thing is about a winners' bracket final, if I'm not mistaken, it's a best of 7. Best of 7, not a best of 5, so we're going to get a lot of Halo in front of us. And speaking of best of 7s, Richie, feast your eyes.
Producer Robles on point with the production, and we get the series layout in front of our faces and on our eyes. As he switched to Aquarius CTF, will be game 6 or 5, I believe. So a lot of games to be played, and like maybe a little bit complimentary of some of the HTS stuff we see, was usually it's a best of 5 in winners finals. We're getting a best of 7 here, so we're going to definitely find out who the better team is in this winners finals. But typically what we've seen from these two teams is a bracket reset, so I wouldn't be surprised to see even more Halo to be played.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup as well for a number of reasons. One, obviously, this is the best 2 teams in Europe. No one's going to really dispute that. These are the 2 teams who have performed best, as we do see our series layout in front of us. But it's an interesting start because it's a fresh season, it's a fresh start, it's a new starting weapon, all this talk. And of course, the only 2 times that these 2 teams have played is the qualifying tournament online up in the build up to this, where NaVi did beat Quadrant. So it's going to be it's going to be fun to see how that compares to the live event environment. Obviously, both these teams are going to be going hard, right? But I think a little win like that for NaVi, when you have been, consistently losing to the Quadrant throughout the years when it comes to these tournaments, is going to give them a little bit of belief coming in that this is going to be a fresh start for them, right? This is an opportunity to maybe just restart the story a little bit when it comes to these 2 teams matching up. And coming out of Worlds, I mentioned this earlier, these 2 European teams both placed inside the top 8, one of them inside the top 6, one of them inside the top 8, which the European Halo fans is probably our best ever result at a World Championship. So these 2 teams are high caliber Halo teams. They're great Halo teams, and I think it's going to be great to see them go up against each other.
That's a good point you raised about having the Bandit rifle start now, because of course the story did seem to have come to a conclusion where the best team with the battle rifle was Quadrant for a long time, but now there's that little element of surprise with the Bandit, and of course with the first tournament going NaVi's way, there's a few more question marks around this tournament that probably previously wouldn't have been there.
Yeah, and the things we don't know for qualifiers, of course, is how hard was everyone going, what was everyone's internet connection like, all those things that you have to kind of factor in when when you're talking about online competition. Online is online, we all know that. It gives us an indication, but it certainly doesn't give us a final result. But I think it's more the result giving confidence to NaVi, like I previously mentioned, that they can go in up against Quadrant and they can beat them not just in one series, but in multiple series. So they're going to be feeling good ahead of this. I know that you look at the players on NaVi, you're looking across them now, and these are players who have put in the work. They're boot camped ahead of Worlds. They got the best Worlds placement in quite some time. They look like a team who could beat some of the best teams in the world in close series, and that's been the story for them this year, right? It's been the close series that hadn't gone their way, but now they've put the work in. Now they had that boot camp. Now they've, as a roster, really started to play for each other and work on their game, not just by playing scrims, but by going away, looking at the VOD, putting in the work that needs to be done. They are looking like a squad that can beat some of the best in the world. So for NaVi, I think this is an important tournament. I think it's an important series, especially for the year that's ahead of them with a new season coming. But for Quadrant, it's the target on your back, right? It's everyone wants to beat Quadrant. Everyone knows they're the number 1 team in Europe at the moment, and you've got to solidify that.
I think it's worth noting we're talking about the year that played out for NaVi, and their latest teammate that they gained themselves was going to be Glory. He was a player that came in with a lot of question marks. Of course, they made that change, and to be fair, Snakey lost his spot, but with the way they were performing, it really could have been anybody that got changed. And with Snakey making way for Glory, they have seemed to have found a little bit of life and a few answers to some questions that maybe they weren't getting. And at the same time, you speak about those close series they lost, they're starting to pick up a couple of wins when previously they weren't.
Yeah, I think one thing that has always impressed me about Glory, and I'm lucky enough to be able to jump into a lot of NaVi scrims when they're playing on Discord and they're not streaming, is that he's got this attitude which you want from a teammate. It's how do I get better? How do I make things better for you? What can I do to improve us? And to find that kind of player is a bit of a diamond in the rough sometimes. So he's going to have an impact for sure. He's already had an impact on his short stay on this team, but as we hop into game number 1, we're going to have to see if it's the impact that turns second places in Europe into first places.
Oddball Streets then on the horizon. These 2 European heavyweights collide once more. It was always going to be this way. Quadrant, who had been getting the better of NaVi for the longest time, but as of recently, has that script started to turn? Are Quadrant about to lose in the winners' finals? And we know how important having that insurance policy of a winners' finals. It shields up It's weapons hot, and we're underway here in Blackpool for winners finals.
Best of 7 here then between the two best teams in Europe. It's the game that everyone's been waiting for, and SLG certainly has been waiting for it as well, because that grenade picks him up a double kill, and that's going to be NaVi already on the back foot. It's going to be rockets in the hands of SLG here, and TchiK with the oddball in his hand. So looks like SLG is going to try and lead the charge, with Sica trying to clear the last players out of Tram, and just like that, the opening strategy that I talked about, Quadrant, they work on it so often, it's almost perfect to get.
Have all the weapons. Zmitys goes down, as does Jimbo. Ball safe back Tram with TchiK. Lqgend set up on rails, got Sica there for support with the stock rifle, and Glory recognises that and has to back down. zMightys has managed to get himself into arcade, and Sica down to no shields, has to try and expertly play his life here. They've got the opener here. And now it's time from the start move, and stock rifles changed hands as well, and shield advantage looked to be in favour of NaVi, but they've lost Snipedrone on the push. He tried to close that distance. Sentinel beam comes in, killing spree for SLG. But they've got the kills they needed. The ball played out front base. Lqgend gets taken care of. Double kill for the Dutchman.
Yeah, really impressive stuff there from zMightys. It was almost like a little bit of a race going on between the two teams after that initial kill was picked up, because Lqgend managed to even up the numbers immediately and make it a 3v3 on this push, but the trades came through and Legend's flank wasn't quite there in time. You saw that zMightys had managed to move into a position to get a kill and turn the Stalker over. Makes his 1v1 a little bit easier if he hits his shots. And now you're seeing NaVi, after a strong start from Quadrant, getting those 43 points on the board, they have a chance now to hold this tram set up in the same way.
Couple of kills go either way. zMightys gets dispatched. Double kill at the back of Tram. Glory's going to challenge here, trying to get close, get the trade. Does so successfully. Snipedrone first one off the respawn. And although NaVi didn't break the setup completely, they did make and force Quadrant to drop the ball, which meant the scoring stopped. And as they now passed over that 50-point threshold, half the round has been won. Rockets have just popped up. zMightys got his hands on, fires one, gets one. Sica still got hands on ball though, as TchiK desperately tries to survive, just milk his life. He's done so. Bought his team a few more seconds on that oddball.
Sica going to be forced to throw this ball out now. He's about trying to get into a position where he can trade if he can. Snipedrone's trying to give some cover. Glory gets cut down as he tries to pick that odd ball up, which means that now we're back into a position where NaVi really have to try and work their way up the map before they can commit to thinking about picking that odd ball up themselves. But a little bit of a dicey game at the moment. The difference is Quadrant, when they had the tram set up, were able to hold for 2 or 3 pushes from NaVi. NaVi have invested, of course, in the last few moments about trying to get that rockets in their hand, trying to pick up the rocket launcher and force the break from there. But now that we're seeing the tram set up kind of being rotated away from by NaVi, back to that sleigh battle where SLG is trying to wait for that support coming in from Sica. Both teams just trying to take their time, trying to survive. Snipedrone trying to support Jimbo here in this fight, but it looks like Quadrant are coming out on top of this 2v2.
Ball scooped up. It's going to be a tower setup. All 4 dead for NaVi. Requiring 40 seconds and some change to close out round 1. NaVi have a couple of pushes, but not many mistakes left in the tank here in round number 1. They've got a pick here. TchiK will stay alive on B rails, but not for long. 3 dead. Sica's trying to rotate the ball. Doing a great job of playing it out front base. zMightys going to be there to catch it, just to negate any wasted time.
Yeah, NaVi catch that ball, like you say, and managed to get it back into a position where they essentially have full map control at the moment. Now it's about damage. Now it's about converting damage into kills and holding off this push. Probably got 1 mistake left in them, NaVi, on this rotation and this hold. If they don't manage to pick up the kills that they require, then Quadrant should be able to scoop the ball up and get those last 19 points or so. But you can see that prioritization of kills, having lost Jimbo, becomes the objective for both teams. Sica trying to push as well. Sica taking down on those shields. zMightys with a beautiful second shot as well. SLG, though, while all this is going down, has managed to sneak through and pick up the rockets, but he's got no shields. zMightys going to finish that off, so that's 3 in a row. Now for zMightys, you've got to wonder if that's going to turn into oddball time, or if the player on your screen here, TchiK, is going to be able to keep them at bay for just a few moments.
SLG recognised the situation he was in, perilous. Decided to waste those rockets so NaVi couldn't use them. 2 dead, was 3 dead. For Quadrant, this is better. The boys usually wear the black and gold. 2 members on statue. Snipedrone putting down some damage. zMightys there with the Bulldog to get the kill. We haven't talked about Snipedrone nearly enough. He's one of those players that people expect that with this Bandit Evo introduction, he'll be even better than ever.
Yeah, he's one of the best shots that we've had in Europe for quite some time, you know. He's the player that you put on an island a lot of the time. He's the player that's cleaning up initial damage, and he's the one who you want to be able to win your 1v1s. But at the moment, it's difficult to win 1v1s when you're going against some of the best in the world at the moment. 3 dead here for NaVi. Ball going to be played out bottom middle as it needs to be. The question is anyone in position off of the respawn here to get angles on it for NaVi, or will Quadrant be able to pick this up and finish this round?
Sica was happy to play it patiently, sitting on B rail. Snipedrone will get one onto TchiK. Lqgend will answer back though, and it's going to be a trade elsewhere. So numbers falling everywhere, and it has favoured NaVi ever so slightly. And zMightys trying to get himself back up into tires. He's managed to get the ball back towards tower now. Spawn's coming up towards PD. That's going to be very important. The Quadrant haven't influenced them enough to send them elsewhere. So there's an opportunity to rotate this ball down driveway if they so choose to take it. Jim's trying to peek for information. He's got SLG in his sights. Has to drop the ball. Puts a couple of shots into one. Big double kill from zMightys.
Really big double kill, important double kill as well. It's going to be 3 dead. Last alive is the man on your screen. It's going to be Lqgend, and he gets absolutely melted. Not only the Sentinel beam, which is heating him up from the inside out, but the battle rifle is making sure the crispy skin gets chipped off as well. And now NaVi looking to go into a lead, and are going into a lead. And not only that, you saw from the point of view of Quadrant there, rockets are in their hands as well. So a few kills going the way in the next few moments of NaVi, and this will be the first round in their hands as well.
Snipedrone going to rotate the ball towards Statue. Trying to milk all the points he possibly can. They only require one more. And round 1 goes to the underdogs in NaVi.
You look at this game type, you look at this combination of map and game mode, and NaVi have put in more work than I think any other game type that they have in their arsenal on the build up to work on these. Not only oddball, but on streets oddball especially. It was one of their weaker ones in the build-ups to Worlds. They really put in a lot of time. And you can see that it's starting to pay off for them. I think the addition of Glory as well has been very important to that. The way that he's able to maneuver around the map. He's very good at prioritizing objective and seeing those moments where the oddball can be moved and rotated. The Rockets, though, going to be a little bit wavy there. And all of a sudden, Quadrant looking a little bit nervy these opening moments. This time they lose the opening battle, and they find themselves having to fight off of the respawn for that oddball.
Was all 4 dead for a moment. They spawn up over towards Arcade. Jimbo's pressurizing the fresh spawners to help his teammate zMightys, who had lost his life. Sica down bottom middle will get a little bit of damage. Jimbo, you can see exactly why he was getting aggressive. He had that bulldog and was trying to utilize it. But Quadrant's starting to close in now. They've scooped the ball to keep it within distance of themselves, make sure the play ball opportunity isn't there. It's going to be scoring opportunities then. 17 seconds is what NaVi got for that initial pressure. Quadrant trying to close the gap immediately.
Yeah, really smart decision to take that one out of Tram. You saw that trades were being picked up in and around back of Tram on the commando. Red Room spawns likely for NaVi in that situation, so they tried to rotate it towards the tower, but just wasn't quite the support there. And NaVi picked up a couple of important kills in the Tram itself, and now been able to move out. And oddball's back in their hands. It's a little bit of a transitional setup, you would say, at the moment, with no one really in full position for NaVi. But Jimbo's making sure that he's holding that ball for as much possible time before he's taken down. And then Glory wins that all-important 1v1. Can't survive those. Lqgend will cut down.
zMightys gets one on the Lqgend. TchiK's in PD. Could do it a little bit of help. It's not going to come quick enough, though. A Snipedrone will get a kill onto one, and SLG is going to fall elsewhere. More ball time for NaVi. Rockets as well. Jimbo scooped them up, but has he just been a little bit too soon? And Glory's going to get one. It was all 4 dead for a moment as Rockets has been scooped up now. And this is very good if you're a NaVi fan.
Yeah, really important moments here for NaVi. Rockets in the hands of Snipedrone. You've got the ball in their hands as well. You've got SLG falling to those Rockets. Snipedrone with some great positioning. And if he can move and find another one, then there might be an opportunity for NaVi to put even more time on the board. However, Lqgend and TchiK, they've won their battles, and Lqgend wins another one against Snipedrone. Those kind of individuals, they're the ones that change games, and so are double kills like that from Glory. Everybody trading in and around PD means that oddball is going to be down, and it's going to be a head-button race, essentially, for both teams to find their way towards that oddball first.
This is perfect for NaVi. Get a little bit of ball time, trade out, reset the map, get some more ball time, and rinse and repeat. 34 seconds to 9 now. Quadrant on the back foot here, already down a round. 4 dead, 3 dead, excuse me, for a moment. As Sica was the furthest man forward. Over towards Cafe, got a little bit of support from TchiK. SLG did die down bottom middle though, and that's going to make this push a little bit harder to get through. With ball in PD, zMightys gets a trade again. Gets another one somehow, some way. He's managed to get 2. And when kills like that are starting to go against him, the score as well, 51-9. Quadrant are in big trouble.
Well, Jimbo just somehow got 2 in that situation. Out of nowhere. And that makes the numbers heavily in the favor here of NaVi. NaVi want to try and rotate this ball. You can see Jimbo's shoulder peeking at the moment, trying to give information to Snipedrone. Snipedrone's in a bit of a 1v2 scenario at the moment and finally will go down. Now, where's the rest of NaVi? Because the opening is here for Quadrant to try and break, to try and push through. Jimbo gets the beat down, but it's not good enough. zMightys gets one. Jimbo does get a trade in that situation, actually, with the stick himself. And now Lqgend, left in his own. Glory is going to be taken down as well. And let me tell you, NaVi are getting loud on this main stage. They feel like this could be their moment to win this game.
NaVi getting very animated. Maybe starting to feel it. This win could be in the bag if they keep playing the way they are. zMightys with the stalker rifle is going to lose his life. That grenade's going to spin up off the flower pot and straight into the mouth. Take him down. But Quadrant have hands on the ball. Time to gather themselves. Take a breath almost if they even have the opportunity to. SLG on L will get another kill. But this game has been so frantic.
Certainly has indeed. And I'm pretty sure that NaVi just picked up the rockets. It's zMightys who has them. Sica should be falling, but no. Sica takes damage, somehow still alive, and now you can see the zMightys is chasing shadows. He cannot find him. He cannot find him whatsoever, and Sica comes back to put him to sleep.
Sent them on a wild goose chase. It was like watching the Scooby-Doo chase. Round and round they went. zMightys made to look a little bit foolish. It was 3 dead apiece. It's Quadrant who've got the hands on the ball now. zMightys getting pressurized immediately, fried by the Sentinel beam, but managed to get the trade again.
Now these are really important moments here for NaVi as well. The adrenaline's flowing, obviously. They're ahead in this game. They've got that first round. They know that they're close to being able to close out game number 1 against Quadrant, but sometimes when the adrenaline starts flowing, your decision-making changes that has got you up until this point. You need to just ride the wave, make sure your fundamental Halo is still being played, because Quadrant don't need to be asked twice to get back into a game like this.
Gotta be conscious of the adrenaline spike, but it can also be a crash. Not to peak too soon. They need to be aware of this. Kills still in their favor, though. 3 dead for Quadrant again. Nobody really in position to get hands on ball. That's been changed now. Jimbo's got it. 1:24 on the clock. As Lqgend gets another kill.
The important thing here to remember is that NaVi have established enough of the lead in this game with 1 minute and 20 seconds left that they don't have to really prioritize the objective. They can work on staying alive, playing the kills, playing the numbers game essentially, and just working on keeping Quadrant off of that odd ball. The problem is now, having failed at that, Quadrant have got the ball in their hands. Quadrant have got it back to Tram, and also the rockets are coming up. Now, if Quadrant can win this team fight in and around the rockets, they get that power weapon in their hands, then this game could change in an instant, and that's what they're looking to try and do. They know this is their opportunity. 2 dead here for NaVi. Numbers still with Quadrant.
It's a very similar situation to we've seen in round 1 as Lqgend with the rockets. Perhaps a win condition taken away from NaVi and only helping the cause now of Quadrant on this comeback. It was something we've seen similar in round 1. Quadrant made and forced NaVi into only maybe having one more mistake, but they came back and won the round. They need to do a similar thing against the boys in yellow and black.
I mean, this is looking like all of a sudden NaVi are backs against the wall in this situation. There's only 2 last players left alive here from Quadrant. They should be able to clean them out, but this is just to delay things. This shroud screen is a big problem, but so is the flank now from Glory. Oppal's going to be picked up here. TchiK is going to be challenging on the B stairs, and Glory has to back down. 2 of his teammates have already fallen. Lqgend's flying in, but he's only landing on a landmine.
Straight into a furry grenade. SLG is going to fall on the front base. Glory doing so much damage, but Quadrant have taken the lead with 2 seconds of an advantage. Snipedrone's in the red room. Jimbo's gotten a kill elsewhere. Quadrant are starting to fall now.
3 dead for Quadrant. Last player alive is on your screen. It's SLG, and he's trying to chase down that oddball. NaVi turned the lead back into their favor with 39 seconds left in this game, as that game clock, of course, will stop thanks to them holding that oddball. Question is, are they going to play for kills? Are they going to use it as bait? The first kill goes over to the side of NaVi. It's that man, Glory. He's sat at 25 kills in this game, who gets the opening pick and makes him feel safe.
Game, set, and match. And it's NaVi who claim game 1.
That's a game type that NaVi love. That's a game type that NaVi have success in, and you're seeing exactly why. There was a few shaky moments, I will say, towards the end of that round where you felt like Quadrant had an opening to get back into it. They got those rockets. They had the tram set up. Lqgend got the first kill twice in that team push, but you got to give credit to NaVi as well. The resilience they showed through those moments. They knew, having established enough of a lead, that they could make it. They had a few pushes left in them, essentially. They could have lost a few pushes before they make a successful one, and that's the hard work you've done in the early game that puts you in that position for the end game. But I think NaVi are going to be very, very happy, obviously, going up 1 in the series. They know they've got a long road to go ahead of them in this best of 7, but it's the perfect start for them.
I think you're looking at, I think we can very easily cast our mind back to round number 1, and they were down by a significant margin, and they managed to come back and win that round. How important that must be for their belief heading it, like not only for the rest of that game, but in the series in general. We heard them getting loud, and after winning game 1 now, live fire Slayers, far less of a daunting task than it perhaps could have been.
Yeah, I think this is an opportunity for NaVi now. If you can win the Slayer, we always say that the Slayer is something that can go either way when you've got 2 talented teams on the main stage, and that's what we have at the moment. But you always look at the overshields. The overshield is the deciding factor when you have 2 big teams. We see if one team gets the advantage and gets that the majority of the time, they will win this game because they have the advantage, not just for the team push that follows it, but you have an overshield to work around a power-up, right? To go and get that sniper rifle, to go and get that heat wave, to flush players out who may be playing, you know, a little bit cringe, as people like to call it, at the back of green, trying to expire that time on the OS. So those fights in and around the overshield will decide this game. It's all about winning them and taking control as quickly as possible.
NaVi then, 1 game to the good. Reminder here, folks, it is a best of 7. NaVi still have to win 3 more, Quadrant 4 respectfully. This series is only in its infancy, but what a start we've had.
Yeah, great start here. Also, keep your eyes on that sniper rifle because we know the talent that's on the Quadrant team, right? You see it in the hands of SLG, Lqgend. I mean, I always say, I start listing the names on Quadrant, then it's like, just pick any of them. Honestly, they can all pick it up and do work on it. You know, there's some of the most famous clips that have come in recent times have been from Quadrant POV with that sniper rifle. I take myself back to Worlds, right? Lqgend closing out the game with that sniper rifle, denying an oddball pickup. It's almost synonymous with this map that sniper rifle kills go into the highlights package, and you can see off the rip here, it's actually going to be zMightys who goes and grabs it. Glory gets that first kill again, and look at NaVi, full of confidence, they're already flooding forward.
Working in tandem. Working together. zMightys rips face, peels 1, looks for TchiK, lines him up, but just misses by a pixel. Getting pressurized, down to no shields, but he's going to stay alive. And now he has the perfect opportunity to look over this overshield, but Quadrant shut him down. Snipe rifle and overshield go to the boys in green.
Yeah, you can say it was a great shot initially from zMightys. However, the only problem was his teammates lost their side of the map. So Quadrant do have that overshield in their hands. However, I was going to say, Jimbo managed to escape from that initial battle without losing his life and taking some overshield off. However, those kills were cleaned up, and now you have Glory with the green gun on the search for the overshielded player. Everyone grouping up again now from NaVi, rotating away, making sure they stay away from the pack mentality of Quadrant, trying to flood, and zMightys with that kill will slow it down and slow the scoring down as well.
All tied up. And then TchiK in the respawn screen. Now, a 2-kill game as NaVi take the lead.
Just want to say there, by the way, we saw it from the point of view of the Quadrant player there, but Glory, I think, actually surprised himself with the shot he just had, because we had him on the main stage go, oh my god. It was almost as if it was a surprise to him that he managed to win that fight, but with this weapon in his hands now, he has the opportunity to hit ones that he hits on a daily basis in matchmaking, and there it is. TchiK feels the pain.
Glory making me sound like Ric Flair here. Heatwave scooped up. Got weapons to play with now. TchiK has to turn tail. Somehow manages to get a double kill. Can he fade away? Does a little bit of damage onto zMightys in the window. Doesn't have the teammates to capitalize on that damage, though. They have arrived eventually. Sica and SLG combined. 3 dead. Glory last man up, and he's in no man's land. He manages to get at least 1.
At least 1 will do in that situation. Jimbo getting outshot from range. As Quadrant find themselves with a 1-kill advantage here, and you're seeing the game just slow down for a moment. Glory again with that first pick. How many times have we seen that so far in this game? Glory popping up when it's a 4v4. TchiK gets a double kill just to even the numbers, and there's Lqgend to clean up some damage. Glory now down Snipedrone, left on his own. Lqgend left with no shields. It's a 1v1 hit. Either player can finish each other off, and we talk about the bandit, right? We talk about range that you need. You need to be able to hit those headshots. Well, there is another example of it.
I think we've had a little bit of an observer issue. Hopefully, the main stage of the game is still going on.
Observer crash, everyone. We're going to keep going.
Hold on. We can maybe move over. Yeah, hold on.
We're going to give you radio updates, everyone.
We're making moves. How long is our wires? We're cracking on here. We have Kaylin on the camera. Perhaps we can get some live footage of what's going on. 20 kills to 15. We have a little bit of radio commentary here, Mark.
Well, Glory's going to find himself a double kill, everybody. He's looking pretty good at the moment. He's got a sniper in his hands. We'll do our best to keep you updated on exactly what's going on. We'll get back into the game as soon as we can. Welcome to 2008, everybody. Periscope is back. The app is still alive.
We're running it back. Fortunately, I'm so far back that I can't even see the score.
No idea what the score is, by the way. 3-4-3. Please make the score bigger.
We're getting confirmation 23-19, but kills keep going the entire time. It's gone 2 in favor of NaVi, so they're growing the lead.
There's going to be a lot of talk about what Glory does in this game, by the way, because it's the only monitor I can see right now. At the moment, he's dead. Now he's alive again. Over to you, Richie.
SLG's got a kill. I can read that from here. There's very little to separate them, although that's all I can see. It could be actually be a very distant.
There's a battle for Overshield going down at the moment by the looks of things, and I thought that Glory was going to be taken down, but there was a teammate in position to help him out. That's 3 dead now for Quadrant, and NaVi are continuing to kind of roll in the last few minutes.
I feel like we should do like a BBC-style football score update. The Barclays Premier League.
Barclays Premier League.
Wolverhampton won.
I'm honestly not sure how to do this. I'm doing my best, everyone, to give you an idea of what is going on.
If I pretend I have binoculars, no, that doesn't help.
3 dead for Quadrant. Maybe we just do that and we let everyone guess what the score might be.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can get back into the game as soon as possible, everyone. If you're watching at home,
you have to just listen to our wonderful voices, or we have to apologise for having to listen to just our voices.
Either or. You can make your decision.
But it is NaVi who still hold the advantage as we head into the final knock-ins of this Slayer. There's not much between the two teams, though. I can tell you, because it's in blue, Quadrant have 32 kills. That might be NaVi, actually. Scratch that, because I'm looking through Glory's screen.
2v2 at the moment. Legend gets the kill. Hey. We're back, everyone. Shout out to production to getting that fixed as soon as possible. Good news is, we might be able to tell you the score pretty soon, but we actually don't have the score on the screen for some reason.
The game is going to end at some point, and we're going to guess who has won. Based on what way the kills have gone.
Find the score right now, and I'll do the maths.
Alright, I'll be back in a second.
3 dead for NaVi. Quadrant with some kills that puts them on a score.
It's 37-36 in Quadrant.
Okay, 37. 1 kill advantage here to Quadrant.
I wasn't going to do the maths up the top. I wasn't doing that.
Glory's still alive. TchiK gets that kill. Is that a 2 kill advantage now?
Should be.
38-36. 38-37.
We need an abacus up here. We're not good at maths.
They say never.
We were not hired for this.
They say never do maths live. This is the perfect example. We have no choice.
All tied up then. Probably. 39 apiece, maybe. Snipedrone's taking the lead for NaVi then. 1 kill game. Again, we hope.
TchiK still in the death screen. All of them alive now. Everybody on the map is alive at the moment. Glory gets that kill on the heat wave in these closing moments. Could be so important. NaVi do have an advantage at this point. However, cover fire is pretty good coming in from NaVi, and Quadrant just kind of left at 7 and 8 at the moment. 2 players weak. Sica will move in to get 1. Can he clean up the second, though? That gets traded out, and it looks like NaVi have just about kept that lead, if my maths is correct, which it could possibly not be.
I've been told 43-41, so a 2 kill advantage. You were close enough.
44.
You did say the right thing. They do have a lead still. 1 player gets pushed off. Top tower trying to get a little bit of pressure, and again, Sica's going to lose his life, and NaVi are closing in on a 2-series lead.
We certainly are indeed. This is looking like all NaVi in this endgame. Another trade going down bottom middle. Trades are absolutely fine if you're NaVi. Of course, 47-42 is your score at the moment. It's just 3 more to go for NaVi, and they will be able to close out and go into that 2-game lead in this series.
There'll be moments then. Quadrant recognizing very little left in this game. They have got to be almost perfect, flawless. Overshield's going to pop up, and you know that's going to be the point where you force Quadrant to make a decision.
They're going to have to make a play at that point. Double push coming in top middle at the moment. Legend does manage to find one. 47-42 at the moment. 3 kills to go still. Although a couple of kills are going down in the favor of Quadrant. And if this one goes in their way as well, then maybe we've got a game on our hands. 47-46. It's a 1-kill game. And you can tell how much different it is to play on the main stage from that battle we just saw. 47
each. Folks, we're in for a bumpy ride. We're all tied up here. Overshield completely dissipates. 48 then for Quadrant. 2 kills required to tie up this series. The heat waves cutting them apart.
Oh!
Double kill for zMightys.
49 kills to NaVi. It's 49-49, I believe. So next kill should win it. There's zMightys. The repulse is there. Can he find the final kill?
Oh!
No, it's 49-49 now.
What do you think?
Gotcha.
Glory back down on scoreboard. 1 kill game.
Probably.
We hope again. 3 members on scoreboard from NaVi. They're rotating away now. A lot of work to be done, but Sica spins on a dime against that final kill. We're all tied up in the series.
Final score 50-49, everyone. You're welcome. Probably.
That
actually was, because we had it on our screen there.
We did
our best. Honestly, we apologise for
making it up as time went on.
But we did our best, everyone. That is our best. That is what you can expect. That's all we've got.
That is our best, and for that we are sorry.
That's all we have. But, I mean, NaVi, throwing that one away.
Yes.
No other way to pull it, really, right? They threw that one away. It's a tough loss to take in that position. The overshield right at the end from SLG, the win around that overshield is going to be important for them to be able to start to formulate that comeback. But a 2-0 series lead feels a lot different for 1-1, especially when you lose the game in that way.
Looking at the tail of the tape, then look at the Slays. Sica leading his team, but not the lobby. It was Glory who had 15, but had quite a lot of deaths to go along with it as well. But you can see just how evenly matched it is across the board when it comes to the Slays. But what a game we had there. Maybe a confidence lifter for Quadrant now as we head into game 3.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of key moments you look back on that game, especially towards the end, right? There was the battle. I can't remember who it was. There was a battle on the C plat between Sica and a NaVi member. I can't remember who it was. We were watching from the NaVi point of view, and Sica managed to win it when you felt a trade here would be good enough, but to come out of that not getting the kill and not even trading in that situation and allowing Sica to live and all of the Quadrant players to still be on the map, they're the kind of small swings that can start to snowball. So those things have got to be looked at for sure. I think maybe NaVi just got a little bit carried away with that momentum towards the end and allowed Quadrant to regroup and start to pick them apart. But Solitude King of the Hill is going to be next, and they need to take that opportunity to reset. They've just stepped off stage for a few moments here, and yeah, we'll have to see how they bounce back from that, because that's a heartbreaker.
I mean, you spoke about some of the fine margins in that game and some of the moments, and we even seen it towards the very end. zMightys gets a little bit excited, a little bit overzealous. He sees SLG, has that repulsor, he uses it, gets SLG to no shield, and then slides out and challenges the world. Gets absolutely lit up, and nobody was there to capitalize and clean up SLG. And that kill given away, maybe if he plays it a little bit more heads up, he backs away and is happy to play a bit more patient.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because he's not going to know there's 3 players around that corner. He sees an opportunity there, and I don't mind sometimes when someone sees an opportunity to win a game and tries to take it. He's got the repulse as well, so he's probably thinking, I can get out of this situation. I can at least survive if someone tries to stick me, whatever it might be. So I'm not mad at it. It's more frustrating maybe that he misses, I think it was the 3rd shot onto the one-shot player that would have got that kill, and then we're like, okay, cool, this is game over. If the opportunity to win the game is in front of you, you've got to try and take it, right? And I'm not mad about the play. Maybe the execution wasn't perfect.
Well, game 2, we have an opportunity to catch our breaths, and for that, I have to thank NaVi for stepping off the stage. What a game that was!
I was not expected to have to use that much brain power over the last 2 days. That was
well, we have game 3 on the horizon.
Also never completely and utterly miscalled a 49-all.
Hey, to be fair, that's
or
not
did
on
I miscall it?
That's not. Hey, it added to suspense. People thought the game was over. We did too.
To be fair, I have to wear glasses to see the monitors about 3 feet in front of us. So let alone like trying to see what they're seeing. You know how small the game score is.
It's a good thing you sent me over to check it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, goodness me. But,
well, King of the Hill Solitude is up next, Mark. And is that the kind of bounce back? Thankfully, it's not a stronghold, so NaVi can get back into this one pretty handedly, you think?
I don't think they're great at Solitude. That's the problem here for NaVi. It's been a map which has certainly been the weakest out of their map pool ever since Worlds, and there hasn't really been a huge amount of Halo played since Worlds to now. So have they been able to find a recipe for success? I'm not so sure, whereas we know that Quadrant on Solitude are pretty good, regardless of the game type, whether it's Strongholds, whether it's King of the Hill, whether it's Slayer. You know, you could probably throw an oddball on there and they'd find a way to win it. So it's certainly a heavy Quadrant favorite, I would say, this 3rd map. And knowing that, if you're NaVi, is going to hurt even more, right? Knowing that 2nd game slipped through your fingers where you could be up 2-0 before you know it, with a strong game type of Quadrant, you could be down 2-1.
I think we have to look at it as perhaps with that crazy game 2 end, and we spoke about it being a bit of a confidence lifter for Quadrant, and rightfully so. Game 1 did not go according to plan. By their high standards, they didn't perform how the expectation was going to be. And I think we look at this next game, okay, we got back into an objective, and maybe we can get back into a bit of a rhythm.
Yeah, I think those kind of games are always telling ones in series, right? And the story of Navi's season, I would say, is those kind of games that decide their tournament placings. Yeah. We've seen so many game 5s or super close games, and you're like, oh, they were almost there, but then when it comes to the end of it, when you're looking at the results, they lose those series, they lose those games, right? And it was at Worlds for the first time where they actually won one of those close series, and it put them into the top 8, and they gave themselves a chance at a run. That's something they're going to have to address, and that has been a problem, not just in that game that we just saw, but a problem for quite some time now. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's they don't play aggressive enough in those final moments. They don't play off the damage that they initially get. Maybe it's just a case of they play a little bit scared. You can see there was some nerve, certainly in some of those individual battles as well. Just play Halo, man. Like, you got to play those last moments sometimes like it's 0-0, right? And it's much easier to say that than it is to do it, but hitting your shots and making smart decisions in those moments, that's what wins you games. And unfortunately, Quadrant made the smarter ones and hit more shots than they did.
We're loading in then. King of the Hill on Solitude. Nothing to separate these two teams after 2. Reminder, it's going to be a best of 7 for this Elim and Grand Finals. There's still plenty of Halo left to be played. This one's on a knife's edge.
Set up nicely at the moment. This is a big game in the series. I would say if this was a Na'Vi favorite game type and they were to lose it, then I think the series heavily swings in the way of Quadrant, right? But I think Na'Vi in the back of their heads as well will know that this isn't the strongest game type for them, and Quadrant will also know this is an opportunity now to go up 2-1, but it's not the kind of 2-1 where you lose a game type you expect to be challenging in. It's oh, okay, that wasn't ours, maybe the next one will be if they lose it. So a strong performance here from Na'Vi could put some pressure onto Quadrant, but you've got to put Quadrant at favorites here on Solitude.
Opening strats. Not really favoring either team, but it is Na'Vi who have loop spawns. A Quadrant member stepped inside the hill for a second. Jimbo gets a kill, but 2 players get the shield ripped from SLG, but Jimbo's managed to lock in a double kill for his team. zMightys down to no shields. SLG trying to and successfully locks in that headshot, but it's Na'Vi who are in hill and Na'Vi who control Tram Loop.
Yeah, you can see that SLG at the moment is kind of trapped on the truck side, and that's fine because you can hide in hill. Na'Vi trying to just push across the map a little bit. A couple of kills being picked up on their way forward as well. And SLG, even though he has this sniper rifle, is finding himself under pressure once more. Pressure is something that makes diamonds, though, and SLG showing once again that pressure is a situation that he's no stranger to feeling.
Jimbo spots out SLG trying to make a move, pinging it, expecting the challenge. It doesn't come, though. So now he has to try and keep tabs on possibly where that player has gone. Sica down to no shields over towards the light rifle. TchiK's in the hill. Has to leave, though, down to no shields. Jim is there to take care of business. You can see the plan here is to rotate into yard for Quadrant. They lost 2 members, though. Sica has to fight 2 members of Na'Vi. They both come in the challenge. This is perfect from Na'Vi.
Yeah, this is really, really good. Just doubling up on the players who are left alone inside a yard, up on the light rifle, and all this time is being scooped up as well by Jimbo inside of the hill. So Jimbo having a really good start to this game as well. He's 3-1. He's got all this hill time. He's really, really working well with his teammates. And for Na'Vi, I think it's very important they get this first hill just to settle the nerves a little bit. Quadrant, they will know that they're going to be in for a series after the first 2 games. And Jimbo now, leaving the hill, decides to push out and pick up some kills for himself.
2 dead. Or Na'Vi. Managed to get some trades. That's the Ruster pack almost for Jim getting the ninja. Camo's up. And Legend tried to stop the camo pickup, but it's been scooped up. 3 dead. 1-0 to Na'Vi. The perfect answer to that Slayer as they go up in this King of the Hill game.
Look at this, the camo as well. They clean out SLG. He was the closest to that hill, and now all the spawns are coming in over at the yard for Quadrant. Na'Vi are in a great position here to get a huge amount of time. There's more kills falling in their favor. Another couple of kills might be falling into the hands of zMightys in a few moments, but instead it looks like Quadrant are trying to cut bottom middle, but Jimbo is there. Thrust is picked up as well. It's 3 dead again. SLG is last alive. He's going to be taken down as well. Na'Vi halfway, all ready to cap in this second hill. Sica's trying to force his team forward. It's a 2v2 on the map, but Na'Vi still in full control.
Firmly in the driver's seat are Na'Vi. Perhaps nervy moments for Quadrant. The expectation was that they were going to win this series, but Na'Vi giving as good as they're getting. zMightys and Snipedrone trying to stay alive over towards Loop. Jimbo trying to keep them alive in yard as well, but taking a little bit of damage. Jim wins another 1v1 against SLG. zMightys wins. And all these ones are starting to stack up. As 2 members go down, 3 members down for Quadrant. 2-0 the score to NaVi.
And now we get that second hill on the board. I think the only real thing to talk about here that's positive for Quadrant after the start of this game is the fact that those 2 hills were capped relatively quickly, meaning there's a lot of time left in this game. Sniper rifle in the hands of Sica. And control of the map also in the hands of Quadrant. So NaVi have got to take their time here to make sure that they can formulate a push. But Jimbo becomes jelly as he gets hit by that sniper rifle headshot coming in from Sica.
zMightys follows them into the grave. Snipedrone just about stays alive on loop, but damage has been done. Lqgend gets a perfect kill. Of course he does. Snipedrone needs to try and stay alive over towards posters. A lovely grenade will mean the Englishman scoops up a double kill for him and just stops the pressure. And it's imperative here that Quadrant don't go down by 3, because then they'll have to claim a top middle hill.
Good stick coming in from TchiK in that situation. Quadrant find themselves 2 dead. Still control of the snipe side, as Lqgend is taking on Glory in this long-range battle, and Glory's going to win it as well. NaVi trying to prioritise taking control of this snipe side, trying to stop those spawns from Quadrant being favourable to them before they jump into that hill. Glory finally is going to step in, as Quadrant now find themselves in a position where they're on the back foot. Spawns have been flipped now. Camo in the hands of Snipedrone. And Jimbo again, with a distraction coming in from the camo, is able to pick up a kill as Snipedrone drags all this attention away.
Another kill for Snipedrone. Sica's down to no shields, but opting instead to rely on a teammate to clean up on the damage. Lqgend will get one onto zMightys. Nothing to separate these 2 of this hill, really. Now Sica has to make a decision. It's to stick or twist, because they're making a lot of progress here on NaVi. He has to make a move, has to try and go here. Glory's in the window, backed out, but it's going to be NaVi. 3 to the good now, and Quadrant are on the ropes.
They are stacking this hill, and they do get that 3rd hill, like you say. So up by 3, 2 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock, and already you can see that Glory is inside of the next hill. They've managed to clear out blue. They have control of the side of the map that you want to have control of for this snipe side hill. But there's SLG in the kill feed. There's Lqgend again, and Quadrant start to at least pick up a few kills to make this a little bit more of a backs against the wolf team fight here for NaVi.
Thus far, it's been a little bit of a demolition job from NaVi. One of their weaker game types we spoke about. Well, we've not seen that here. Playing admirably. SLG will get 1. Still time, though. 2 minutes and 36 to be exact. That clock's going to stop every single time a player gets a toe in. And NaVi now need to start deciding, are we going to play Slayer or are we going to try and get this hill? I think there's far too much time on the clock as Jimbo locks in 2.
Jimbo locks in 2, like you say, with that repulse. Now he gets a little bit overexcited, but he's trying to get that camo back to his teammates. He was one of the furthest players ahead of the team fight there that was in a position for NaVi to grab that power up, so you could see the idea behind it. But with that sniper rifle in his hands, with the snipe side control, was it his responsibility, or could he just play that a little bit slower, held down a few angles as SLG finds himself a double, and now he's got the camo and he has the sniper rifle too.
A lot of tools at his disposal. zMightys down to no shields, who will desperately trying to stay alive over towards Flowers. He's got help as NaVi start to rotate towards Yard. The score now 3-1. Got themselves back in this game, but a lot of work to do. Another double kill for SLG. He's trying to take the game over, but he's been shut down.
3 dead for NaVi. Quadrant starting to finally find a little bit of life. 2 minutes 13 left in the game. It's plenty of time for them to turn it on its head once more as well, when you can see that they have already got control of snipe side once again. That dip hill is a little bit more of a difficult one to try and control. You've got to try and hold down blue and that snipe side. Snipe side should be where you're trying to force teams, but Jimbo with that kill is going to leave Lqgend on his own now. Lqgend finds himself in a position where he's just trying to survive, trying to be a nuisance before he can come back out and challenge. zMightys is trying to hunt him down, but can NaVi clean him up?
NaVi recognized they had to clear Quadrant out of blue. They need to clear those spawns to make this hill a more difficult task. They've done so. Sent Lqgend packing as 3 go down for Quadrant. There's so much room that SLG has to make up to get to that hill, and the clock dwindles down.
Play call very clear now from NaVi. They want to just play clock. They want to just run this time down and try and just make sure that Quadrant are spending more time in the death screen than they are anywhere near this hill. But Lqgend and TchiK take that opening, take that advantage, pick up a couple of kills. The camo's going to be coming up as well in just a few seconds' time. SLG finds another kill as well, and The one thing that I'm always a little bit worried about against a team of the caliber of Quadrant is if you give them an opportunity to pick up kills, they only have to kill you once, and they are in control of that hill, and there's still plenty of time on that game clock. If NaVi don't break in this next team fight, this could be 3-2, and there's plenty of time still left in this game to potentially tie it up.
They're going to have to live and die by that decision to play Slayer, because they're allowing Quadrant back into this game. Couple of grenades go down. Legend still has a sliver of camouflage left. He has finally fallen. 2 dead for Quadrant, with 1:07 on the clock. So again, this is good for NaVi. Every single time they get a kill, they hurt the chances of Quadrant winning this game.
Yeah, the big thing here was this team push, and it's being won by NaVi. They finally clean up all these members. zMightys is there as well to help out. It's 53 seconds left for NaVi just to hold off the Quadrant push once again. One push here that's successful for Quadrant, though, will give them this hill if they can take all of the NaVi players down, and Legend starts it off well with a kill on zMightys.
A reminder, folks, even if they win this hill, it's going to go top middle. It's going to be so difficult to hold it. SLG will get one, and they are in the hill. Snipe rifle's there to be scooped up, and Snipedrone's patiently trying to wait for his teammates to spawn back up as SLG dives towards garbage truck. Legend manages to get one, but straight it out immediately. SLG in another fight gets a kill, almost lives. And a score now 3-2 as we head to top middle.
Oh my goodness, Jimbo there with the help. Sniper rifle gets picked up here by Glory as well, but immediately he will fall as well. 22 seconds left on the game clock. That's the important thing in this game at the moment. It's a one-hill game, but at the moment with 2 in the death screen, Quadrant quite simply cannot get their toes inside of that hill. So NaVi, even though there's been a few team pushes that haven't gone their way in the last few minutes, might have done enough here, Richie.
Controlling loop might be the final death knell in the coffin here to give them the series lead. With 1 second, nobody in position. NaVi retake the lead. 2-1 the score now.
With so much time left in that game, I was a little bit worried that NaVi maybe were going to have to hold off a few too many pushes from Quadrant in that final moment, but it worked out for them in the end. There was only around 30 seconds, I think, 20-something seconds on that last hill that Quadrant had to play with to try and lock it down. The hard work was done early in the game. And just looking across the statistics here, I want to talk about zMightys because he kind of quietly went about the business, putting down a huge amount of damage for his team in that game. And I think you also look at Snipedrone, right? You're looking at some of those stats that are coming in. We mentioned how Mike is going to be a player to watch now that Bandit starts are back in Halo Infinite. That single shot weapon is something he is certainly going to have fun with. As now we see the series score, right? 2-1 in the favor of NaVi. Could have easily and arguably maybe should have been 3-0 at this point, but Argyle CTF is going to be our next map, and this is Quadrant's playground. This is where they love to grab those snipers and love to have some fun.
There is a couple of game types that NaVi will be worried about in this series. Argyle CTF being one, and game 6 is going to be a stronghold, so you feel NaVi are going to have to win this series in either a Slayer or this CTF game right here, because although they're in the driving seat with a 2-1 advantage, they cannot afford to let Quadrant get back into this one here.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got to remember it's the best of 7 as well. So there's a lot more Halo to be played in this series. 3-1 isn't going to get it done. They're going to have to win a couple more games if they want to send Quadrant down to that elimination bracket and have them fight their way through to that grand finals. But for NaVi, it's a great confidence boost, I think, for them, how this series has started. Just looking across at the moment, it's all smiles on their side, as you would expect. You're up in the series. Usually you're feeling pretty happy about it, but this is a game type that tests everyone, right? It's a mental test as much as it is a technical test. It's a test of your skill and hitting your shots. It's such a difficult attritional map to get those flags moving and those flags running. You have to accept sometimes that you're going to spend 2 or 3 minutes just fighting for mid-map control. And that's what you have to base a lot of this game off of. Those trades, pushing your way forward. And we've seen games being decided by one player picking up a snipe, hitting a quick double, and then a third kill falls in tandem with that. That creates the opening for those flags to run.
We're underway then. We were on board for a moment with zMightys, but we switched now over to TchiK, who has that grapple and now the quantum translocator. With one click, scoops it into his chest. Snipedrone tried to get aggressive and managed to get the kill. He QT'd, but it was only a corpse by the time he got to the end of it.
Glory given the responsibility of picking up the sniper here for NaVi. On the other side, you saw SLG with the sniper rifle for Quadrant, and it's a defensive position here that's having to be taken by Glory with this weapon. Sica trying to push him. Glory trying to scare him back for just a few moments here, but this is the kind of style of play you're going to have to adapt sometimes if you are playing defensively. The worry is if you don't get those kills, not only do you hand over control of your base and the flag, but you also leave that sniper at the back of your base to be picked up as well, and that can be a problem.
It's always funny the different speeds you have to play depending on the game type. You play Capture the Flag on Argyle, it's a lot more slow, methodical. They've just come from a frantic game of King of the Hill, where it's all gun-ho, it's all running, all sprinting, holding forward. TchiK with a beautiful stick. Lqgend gets one elsewhere as zMightys tries to even up the odds. 3 dead now for NaVi, and just like that, number's been thinned out once more. This flag looks to be dead.
Just that was such an important kill, by the way, from Glory. If he doesn't get that, then someone gets a touch on that flag, and that entire time the flag was away from the NaVi base, and Quadrant weren't quite able just to get that extra touch on it. It seems like they spread their resources a little bit thin and didn't win the individual fights that they needed to, but the final cleanup there from Glory really just to secure that that flag would be going home. And for the first time now, we're seeing NaVi approach that halfway line on the map, starting to put pressure on the base, but good kills coming in from Lqgend to take down zMightys. Shows that Quadrant are looking pretty strong in this defensive hold.
TchiK getting the shot in the back. Not even going to attempt to turn around, accepting his faith. As the game slows down, Jimbo tries to get aggressive over towards the screens. Has to back away. Do a little damage, take a little. Get down tonight. zMightys tries to back away with the snipe. Also down to no shields. A lot of players just playing their lives expertly here as zMightys reach out. Snipedrone wins that fight cross map with the Bandit Evo.
Oh.
Sniper rifle in the hands of Lqgend.
Oh.
Pops the shields. Almost locks in two.
I mean, you have to give some credit on the other side of things, right, to zMightys, that under that pressure, having just seen what happened to your teammate, still manages to clean up the kill. 2 dead here for NaVi. Where is that sniper rifle fallen, though? Was it able to be recycled, or was the ammo not quite in the position it needed to be picked up? For now, it's going to be looking like it might have fallen down into that vent as the stick comes in and the trade comes in. 2 dead here for Quadrant. NaVi trying to chase down sneaky little Lqgend.
Snipedrone
winning a few individuals.
Win the one. It's not often you see Lqgend lose them. You almost have to take note. Glory gets one onto Sica. Trading this one out perfectly, are NaVi, making this a very frustrating game. All 4 dead for Quadrant.
Snipe in the hands as well of zMightys. Sat up top middle, the flag is moving. This is perfect timing for NaVi. Still 2 in the death screen, by the way, for Quadrant. They've only just got back on the map, so a few kills being picked up in that kill feed. If it lights up in blue here and you see Quadrant players falling, this should be the first cap of the game. Jimbo will get that first kill. It's a clear run home, and look at this. NaVi get that first flag in here, and Quadrant are under pressure.
Jimbo gets another kill. 9, 1 and 5. It's almost looking at the Jimbo of old. The numbers he's putting up now. He's come to play here on Championship Sunday. Looking to claim yet another European trophy to add to his long list of the ones of Halo 5. They're countless tournaments he won. TchiK, though, will have something to say about it, especially if he has this sniper rifle in his hand. With NaVi spawning over towards elbow. Glory gets a huge kill to stop this flag in his track and just slow the momentum down.
Oh, I tell you what, Glory's starting to warm up a little bit here. 2 big snipes being hit by Glory that are just going to push Quadrant back once more. And you can see it from the POV of Lqgend right now. He has no chance of pushing forward. Lqgend doesn't fall as zMightys flies in there. He manages to pick up the kill himself, but there is Glory again with that sniper rifle, and he is a human turret at the moment. He ain't missing too many shots.
There was a moment there where he looked at Jim and Jim looked at him and he thought he was safe. And then a sniper shot came out of nowhere right to the spine. NaVi, happy to hold the advantage they have. They worked so hard to get it. zMightys rips another skull. zMightys is hitting shots, as is Glory. This is bad news for Quadrant.
It's bad news, but I want to see NaVi be aggressive off the back of this, right? Because so often you'll see teams and players, they get into positions where they're 1-0 up in a game and they're like, okay, we can just hit a few kills here. We can forget about the fact that if a second flag is on the board, this game becomes very, very difficult for Quadrant to get back into. So you have to press your advantages. Kills aren't going to win you the game at this point. You can't expect to constantly hold off Quadrant pressure. You're going to have to get another flag moving if you want to secure it. You almost want to guarantee with 6.5 minutes left.
It's almost like using a football reference as he strolls onto the flag. Lqgend and pulls it. 1 isn't comfortable. 2, you need a cushion of some sort. Can't rest in your laurels, and we're seeing exactly why.
Literally,
only moments pass when you talking about this, and this is what you see.
It's literally it, right? They're picking up kills. They're not pushing up. They're not trying to get aggressive in the base. And hey, one opportunity with the sniper rifle falls to Quadrant, and we have ourselves a tie game. That's incredible efficiency, by the way, from Quadrant. That's pretty much the second time in this game they've had a flag away from the base, and they convert it. So NaVi are probably going to look at that last few moments and think, hey, is that on us? Did we misplay that situation? And is that something we can address moving forward?
Just under 6 minutes left. Glory in the vent, down to no shields, but he's managed to get Legend in a similar position. Looking to try and bait and switch. Plasma grenade lands at the feet of Legend, knows exactly where he needs to stand to avoid the splash damage.
I was going to say,
down to the inch.
That takes half my shields off when I'm playing online, but Quadrant starting to find themselves on the receiving end of a few deaths here, but they're all on the NaVi side of the map, so it's not going to be ones that will worry them too much. You can see they still have SLG with the sniper rifle in his hands, and he'll be able to hold down the line for a few more moments. But Mighty's trying to poke, and Mighty's doing more than poke, creating an opportunity by ripping the shields for Snipedrone to move in.
2 dead then. Snipedrone's going to try and pull the flag here. Mighty's almost accepted the fate of his teammate, knowing that this one was going to be difficult. To 2 members left then of NaVi left on the map, but they're all in the same position of the side, with Sica trying to back away after receiving a little bit of damage, trying to get this flag into the vent. SLG with the sniper rifle puts this flag and stops it in its tracks. McQuantum translocator up as well. Could that be a factor?
Yeah, you wonder here, just on that run, that what went wrong for NaVi. It was Sica staying alive for a long time in the back of the base. You saw, I think the Glory got a call out that there's a player on the low cap below him. So instead of kind of holding the angle that he was expecting more players to be respawning from, that he could have given a bit more cover, he re-challenges, looks for that player, understandably so, right? But maybe his job wasn't that player. Maybe his job was just to take a few extra seconds, and NaVi's job was to take a few extra seconds in that circumstance, just to secure a few extra kills before trying to force that flag. They end up trying to force it, and now they find themselves on the back foot, but they should be able to return their flag. They do exactly that. We're still tied up at 1-1 with 4 minutes left.
All 5 shots, Mighty's Bandit connect. Sniper rifle taken care of. Won't be a factor for now. We're going to have fresh ones popping up any second now. The flag has been pulled. Mighty's trying to escape in the vent. Kills have gone in their favour too. And now there's a real decision to be made. Can Quadrant get the stop here? They've got Legend overextended. He's going to just wait, play this one as patient as he possibly can. He will pop up down to no shields, but keeps on running. Jimbo's got the kill. And NaVi could be about to take the lead here. Receives more damage, but stays on his feet.
Best thing here is he can just take his time, right? Because you can see he's got teammates with him. He's got support from his teammates. Kills being picked up. NaVi do take their time, and they do go into that lead. And I think they did learn from the previous flag run, right? They just took their time a little bit more. They forced that kill onto Legend. Legend was never going to be able to kill 3 players if they were able to focus their fire onto him. And even though Legend is a hell of a player, he's not going to be able to kill 3 people with just a bandit in his hand. So NaVi go into a lead here. 3 minutes left in this game.
What a game Jimbo's having. Glory with the sniper rifle. He has hit some pivotal shots at some massive moments in this game. Game slows down as Quadrant try to lay siege to the base. Glory's down to no shields, backs away, stays alive, as does Mighty's front base. So frustrating as Legend tries to chase and hunt them down. Another kill goes their way. 3 dead now for NaVi. A beautiful again from Glory as he manages to stay alive. Top grapple and get away.
What a play this is from Glory, by the way. He's not only stopped that flag almost single-handedly, look how he's played his life. Look how he's thrown off the timing of all of the players from Quadrant. He cannot be taken down. Jimbo gets another kill, and that's a kind of special play, right? You look at that play and that quick thinking, that quick decision-making to not only get the kill and stop the flag, but stay alive, get ahead of the pressure, get your team out is so difficult to have unless you have that decision-making naturally.
And how many times we see players get kills, particularly, listen, I'm going to flame my matchmaking teammates, they get a kill, they're quite happy to stand still, they feel like they've done their job. He gets the kill, he flies forward, puts damage down on more players, keeps on moving, keeps on grooving. And as a result of that, they hold this 2-1 lead into the final knockouts of this game now. NaVi still have work to do though, because Quadrant, they're coming forward.
Quadrant have no option at this point with 1 minute and 40 seconds left to try and push forward, to try and put pressure on. NaVi just have to hold the line for a minute and a half, but Sniper Rifle is in the hands of SLG, and I mentioned how a double kill could completely change the map. All of NaVi trapped in the back of the base! As SLG reintroduces himself to Jimbo in the form of a snipe bullet.
I would have preferred a handshake, personally. Sniper rifle to the face will do a job, though. 2 down for NaVi. As SLG tries to punch a hole in the defense. But again, Jimbo's there. Jimbo stands strong. Glory's hit another headshot. TchiK, he's in trouble as well. Glory gets one more. 1 minute remaining.
So many clutch plays been made by NaVi in this game, right? Usually you're kind of associating them with Quadrant in those clutch moments, the end of the game, big defensive or offensive plays. Well, they have a chance to make one now, but let's talk about initially the shot coming in from Jimbo, right? Jimbo manages to shut things down, manages to slow things down. Glory again gets it out with a sniper rifle, cuts down another player, and as the trades go down, they fall in the favor of NaVi once more. It's 3 players in the death screen. Now look at this, Glory is still trying to push forward, still trying to be aggressive. And for Quadrant, it's looking like this could be another game slipping through their fingers.
Questions had to be asked about Jimbo's performance. Is there some sort of engagement buff that we don't know about? Can they sell that in the HCS store? Because whatever it is, if you can bottle it, he looks a different man this weekend. Huge kill again. Look at the feed. Glory gets a sniper rifle headshot. Just stopping so much pressure as the final moments dwindle down. SLG desperately tries to toss the flag out, but nobody there to touch it. NaVi are going to win CTF Argyle by 2-1. Unless. There it is. NaVi 3-1 in the series then.
One game away. One single solitary game away from knocking Quadrant down to that elimination bracket and seeing them having to play a lot more Halo today. But that was an impressive game of control, I think, from NaVi. I think a lot of the time that we saw clutch plays being made, it would be from the NaVi side. And the one that obviously stands out to us that we caught on our POV was Glory. You can see the statistics there. Jimbo and Glory leading the way for their team. Snipedrone leading the way of assists. But there were so many moments, but the one big one that we talked about was Glory hitting the snipe as last player alive, hitting the shots to stop that flag running, and then grappling out to a position which takes attention away from back flag from snipe spawns, where the rest of Quadrant are probably trying to focus their attention on for the respawners to come in on the map. He gets out, he survives, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now we have to worry about him. We have to turn our attention away. We have to split our attention from focusing on one area, the back flag, and on the snipe side to where Glory's going to be in position. I mean, really, really important play, really heads-up play from him, and those kind of plays will win you games, and NaVi find themselves winning it 2-1.
And if I told you, listen, heading into this series, that it was going to be 3-1 to NaVi, but they had won every single objective game type, you'd be asking serious questions of Quadrant saying, what's gone wrong here?
Yeah, I think you're right, and there's a few moments that I'm watching at the moment from Quadrant that just don't feel very Quadrant. They feel a little bit off. There's a few individual battles being lost.
Yeah.
You can maybe... Is it the Bandit? You know, is it the Bandit that's given them that inconsistency in those individual battles? Is it just that NaVi have just been winning those individual battles? It's tough to see, but how many times do we always talk about, you know, you'll see Sica in a 1v1 to make a play, to get the last player alive, to stop a flag, to win a flag, whatever it might be. He wins it, right? And the same can be said about some of the players that we've seen all season long from them, but the individuals at the moment seem to be being won by NaVi more often than not, and the teamwork is there as well.
Yeah, I think when you start to stack up some of those fights, we're seeing Snipedrone hitting those shots, Legend losing more 1v1s than typically we're used to seeing, and perhaps, like you say, it is just the fact that we've changed the weapon now and you're punished for missing that one stray shot when perhaps if you just sprayed with the battle rifle, one shot would connect, but now you're seeing you have to be super precise, and that's why we're seeing the likes of Snipedrone and maybe Jimbo picking up the stats that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about, like, I feel like it's sometimes a little bit more difficult to trade in certain situations with the Bandit as well, because you have to hit the 3 shots and then the beatdown, right, which just gives you the extra second for maybe a teammate to pop up and assist you in a kill. It gives you just that extra half a second that can make all the difference. And when you just slide and you kind of, with the battle rifle, you expect the 2-shot beatdown to come in, you get the trade, it's a comfortable trade, especially if, you know, you hit a G-slide into someone, right? You expect to be able to get that trade. But the little half second, sometimes the difference in those kind of moments can add up across the series with one kill not going your way, a couple more players getting involved in a team fight. So it's the start of the Bandit era, if you want to call it that. Sounds like a weird kind of wrestling term. Vince McMahon might enjoy that one. But, you know, it's certainly, you're already seeing some of the differences in team play and individual play with just the change of the starting weapon.
Up next, we've got a Slayer. It's going to be on recharge. Is there anything you've seen from the series so far that maybe tips the balance either way? We have already seen Quadrant win that Slayer, and they desperately need to win it now. There's no more mistakes in the chamber. They have to win every game from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, Quadrant they won the Slayer, but they probably shouldn't have. Let's be real. Like, if you watch that game back, you would have known that that's That's NaVi throwing the Slayer away, not Quadrant winning the Slayer, in my personal opinion. They kept it close, sure, but when you're up, what was it, 47 to 43, I think it was, in the end of that game, and you lose, you're not usually looking at the other team and going, wow, they played really well in those final moments. You're going, how do we blow that one? You know, it's you're in control of the map, and you're in control of the score. So I think Quadrant, looking at that, will be probably a little bit worried, knowing that for 90% of that game, they were on the, you just say, with the negative side of the majority of the gameplay and the flow of the game. It was just those final few moments they managed to clutch up in. So when your series is on the line, when your winners bracket run is on the line, and you have that in the back of your mind, plus you've just lost 2 back-to-back games, it's a tough ask for them. It's a tough ask for them. We'll have to see what we're made of.
I think we've asked the questions ago. The Quadrant don't look very Quadrant-like right now. That's something that we've said. But in the same vein, NaVi typically, we've seen them. You spoke about their troubles all year long, where they get into tiebreakers in groups. They don't win those games, and you spoke about it at the start of the series. They're starting to win those games, and just like we've seen there, those tight moments and towards the end, when you need a little bit of ice, they're starting to show it now.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I know I give a lot of credit to Glory and what he's added to this team, not just individually, but I think the attitude of the team is like. I think NaVi had to be brought down a little bit. Brought down a peg or two when because they were so used to winning these players at the start of Halo Infinite, right? And they expected to win. They expected to continue to be able to be the best team in Europe. And I think it was quite difficult to accept sometimes that they weren't. And all of a sudden, I think it was as soon as Glory was added to this team, there was kind of this freshness and like work ethic reinstalled. It's like, okay, if we want to get better, we have to do the stuff that we really don't want to do. That means sitting down and doing hours of VOD review. That means, putting ourselves in situations that make us feel a bit uncomfortable, and we have to be honest with each other. Like, why didn't we win this series? Was this a decision that we made? Was it a play that we made? Was it our game plan that was wrong? And, it's work that any team should be doing. But when you are the team that has been winning for so long in Europe, it's almost difficult to put yourself in that mindset. And I think you got to give a lot of credit to players like Glory, Jimbo, zMightys, and Snipedrone as well, for recognizing that, hey, if we want to actually get better, you don't just get better. Like, you have to put in the work, and they've started doing so.
Okay, then. NaVi 1 game away from closing out this series. Slayer Recharge up next. And for Quadrant, they would really like to be heading into a grand finals on the winner's side. They would not want to have to do it through the elimination side. But they find themselves in this situation now. Perhaps came into this one a little bit too cold. And 3 dead they go. As Sica will make it an unofficial 4 dead. Perfect start from NaVi.
Gonna ask for more. It's 6-0 off the rip here. And a 6-kill advantage is absolutely massive at the start of any game. You've got to imagine that. We're not sure if that camo was burnt, but they're certainly going to have control of the shock rifle. You just saw it narrowly whisking past the ears of Lqgend here. And Lqgend, again, being taken down. SLG finds one, but there is that shock rifle. There's Jimbo with a double kill. Question is, can he find more as the trapeze artist in him starts to rise to the surface? But I think it was more a trapeze of escape than it was looking for that triple.
Jimbo putting down more damage. Playing with a confidence we have not seen in quite some time. Starting this game off with a killing spree. That's when you need your leaders to step up and be counted for. He's hoping to be the difference maker here for his team. Ahead by 10. It's a massive margin. SLG will get one. Glory managed to get quite a significant amount of damage down before that, though. Quadrant just don't look themselves right now.
Reeling. It's the only way to put it at the moment. Quadrant are absolutely reeling at the moment. And it just feels like NaVi have just got their number. zMightys gets another kill. It's 16-5 at the moment. It's a scoreline that, if you're a Quadrant fan, there's no real good way to look at it.
zMightys goes down, and perhaps this is a moment then for Quadrant to gather their thoughts. Quell the momentum. Glory, though, again opens the door. No, he doesn't. He kicks it in. Puts TchiK away. Excuse me, Sica. SLG will get one back. Camouflage now. One more shot to play with the shock rifle. Can't find the face, but will burn the camouflage.
Yeah, burns the camo, keeps it out of the hand of Quadrant. And if you're down by 10 in a game, then those kind of things you need to be able to pick up, right? And at the moment, Quadrant just kind of finding themselves in the blender, the NaVi blender, however you want to put it. It's trade after trade, kill after kill going in the favor of NaVi. It's 23-12. Snipedrone picks up yet another kill as well. Here's an individual battle that we'll have to keep our eyes on. And again, Snipedrone comes out of it with a trade in a situation where you're probably looking at it and thinking there's been a few situations in the past where, you know, a Quadrant player comes out of that on top.
You said NaVi blender this whole time. I've just been thinking about, can you get them on Amazon? Is there NaVi sponsored blenders?
Black Friday's coming up. NaVi, get your marketing team on it. I'm sure it will sell one to an Irishman.
SLG down to no shields then on double stacks. Quite a lot of grenade damage being picked up, but not enough to send them away. Need to try and close this distance. They managed to get another one. Jimbo will answer back as Legend soars in, trying to get the trade. And again, you speak of it, they usually get those kills. 3 dead again for Quadrant.
Make it 4, 31-19 the score at the moment, and it's Jimbo who's leading the way at the moment, and 10-5 from Jimothy, and you use the forbidden word, the name that we shall not call him, Jimbosity. Feels like a long time ago we were talking about Jimbosity, but Jimbo. Maybe there's going to be a few more proposals going down very soon in the Halo scene, because this man is playing some crazy Halo.
Lock down your significant others. This is the result. The ground pound king, he's back. Camouflage now in 6. 16 kills required for NaVi to close out this game and the series. And go into the grand finals through the winner's side with that insurance policy of losing another best of 7 before they lose the tournament. Quadrant have got a 2-for-1 trade, making it a 1-for-3. Camouflage is up. And in for Glory. Glory will get that kill, but again, it's almost like a burn. He would have liked to have a little bit more of an impression on the game than that, but again, trades are good.
I was going to say, in that situation when you're last alive and you kind of give away a position, a trade is fine in that situation when you've got a 38-27 lead. It means that you're keeping the camo at the hands of your opponents. That's an opportunity for them to get back into the game. It means you're allowing your teammates to get back on the map in a more even situation. Snipedrone also has this shock rifle as well, who's quietly gone to 12-4, by the way. And for now, you can see the Snipedrone is just trying to bait out a few players at the back of C. Jimbo and Snipedrone aren't going to be here, and now here comes the push, but look at this, sliding in being aggressive is Snipedrone to get that damage down. Jimbo will be able to clean it up, and now NaVi find themselves 9 kills away from sending Quadrant down to the elimination bracket.
NaVi's pacing has been absolutely perfect in this game, in this series. Playing slow when they need to. Forcing Quadrant in some really uncomfortable positions. And again, you speak about that blender. They just activated it once more. It's a 1-for-2 trade. They need 7.
TchiK has that shock rifle, but with 7 deaths to play with, it's going to have to almost be, and I hate to use this phrase, but almost perfect Halo at this point, where you're just getting kills, you're barely getting traded out. And to do that, you need to really be efficient when you get that damage to capitalize on it and escape with your life. But there's zMightys. Again, just a kill out of nowhere, right? How many times have we seen the first kill in a team fight going to NaVi in this series so far? It's another example of it there.
Camo's going to pop up. And NaVi recognize they can be the ones to dictate the pace now. They can be the ones to make the mistakes. Which can only mean more camouflages going their way. 2 more kills required. And a little bit of disrespect with the use of the plasma pistol from Glory. This game very quickly got away from Quadrant. zMightys gets another kill with the grenade. TchiK answers back, but it's too little too late. As Snipedrone locks in the final kill, 4-1 to NaVi.
You can see how much it meant to them. They just popped off on that main stage. I think that means a lot to NaVi, right? Yeah, they've been trying to get better. They've been trying to improve. They've been trying to prove a point here in Europe that, you know, all the talk has been rightly about Quadrant over the last year or so, right? But they still feel like they have been close to them that entire time. That series, honestly, wasn't that close. You have to be honest. NaVi were in control for the majority of it. That could have easily been a 4-0. It ends up as a 4-1, but there'll be questions to ask for Quadrant here. They've got some more Halo to play today as they drop to that elimination bracket. But NaVi booked their tickets to the grand final and, of course, will have that series advantage coming from the upper side as well.
And I'll say this with the utmost respect. You touched on it a little bit. That was a blowout. I mean, every single objective game was a blowout. That last Slayer was the same. And we spoke about it after game 2. That could have very easily been and should have been a NaVi win. This should have been a clean sweep. if you really analyze it. So Quadrant have a lot of work to do. They go down to the elimination final now. They have to take care of business, and they're going to get another crack at NaVi, but they need to right some wrongs because things were not looking good for them.
I mean, are they going to get another crack at NaVi? That's the question, because if they're playing like that in the next series, then they might have a little bit of a shock result, but they're going to have to step it up. They're going to have to go away and refocus, because there were certainly some questions that they were coming up short with, and some challenges that were coming up short of in that series. But yeah, a little bit of a tough one for Quadrant fans to watch. I don't really want to say that it was Quadrant playing badly. I want to give it a little bit more praise to the NaVi side, to be honest with you, because I think NaVi just played exceptionally well in that series, and the clutch moments all went their way.
Yeah, that's right to be said. I think Quadrant have an elimination final on the cards. Don't go anywhere, because we'll have that up next.